Is the hate in the room with us? Are the comments about your character and appearance in the room with us? For the love of all that is holy, stop telling the people who don't like you exactly how to get under your skin. The lack of self-awareness, but also of self-preservation, is astounding.
I don't understand it. I'm completely crashing out right now.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I am so excited to have you all back here with me again this week for even more internet nonsense. And this week there's quite a lot to unpack, so I hope you all came prepared. If you are new here and this is the first time you are seeing my face, welcome. My name is Sam and I make weekly videos dissecting internet nonsense. So if you're into that type of thing or you like today's video, I hope that you'll consider liking and subscribing. It really helps out the channel and make sure you never miss another upload from me. Today, I want to talk with you all about a creator that we've never spoken about here on the channel before, and that's because I've only recently learned about her. And despite a brief introduction to her content, it appears to me that she is working double time to get herself onto that girl world podium. Don't believe me? Well, let me go ahead and show you a couple of clips I found that are giving girl world energy.
Let's just say you're right, even if you are right. Who cares? Like, do you really think I care about having a few photos on a dating app where I have less body fat than I have now?
Let's say I do gaslight my audience. Who freaking cares? Who cares? I'm not perfect.
Themselves as being a lot more near perfect, but I don't. I'm raw, I'm authentic, I'm vulnerable online, I have no intention of changing that. What about it?
This video is so raw, you guys. Fuck.
Do you see what I mean? The creator in question is a woman named Molly Rutter, and in case you're a complete newbie to Molly the same way that I was, let me go ahead and give you a quick introduction to who she is. Molly is a TikTok creator who makes dating content that includes her filming herself during dates, sharing that she is frequently ghosted, discussing how she likes to date younger men, and often sharing the private messages she's been sending back and forth with these men that she is dating. She has nearly 200,000 followers on TikTok, as well as a podcast here on YouTube that has about 650 subscribers, and an Instagram account with about 2,500 followers. Molly is drawing a lot of attention to herself across various social media platforms, mostly due to her antics, but also the way she responds to being called out for her antics. So today I want to do something just a little bit different than I've seen done by other creators, and what I really want to focus on is the way that Molly has actually created and continues to feed this sort of hate following that she has, if you will. And this idea actually came to me from the person who introduced me to Molly, which was this creator who recently popped up on my For You page.
This is actually like a TikTok phenomenon that I've really been wanting to talk about. I think that it is so wild when you see a creator on TikTok who has such a combative relationship with their audience. I just made a video on Molly Rutter, and she has like, you know, like an off-brand dating diary series, and like she has an incredibly combative audience. Like her audience, generally speaking, while they enjoy her content, they don't really agree with any of her decisions and like what she does. So while her audience may like be intrigued by what she's doing, they don't like support her. You know what I mean? I just think that it's a result of like not being able to take criticism. And like she just gets so defensive if anyone gives her a critique, whether it's like in a mean tone or a nice tone. Like she does not take feedback and she doesn't apply it. And so that has created this really like tense and like negative relationship with her audience. And it's a phenomenon that I've seen a lot, kind of exclusively on TikTok.
This creator's description of combative audiences really piqued my interest, although it's fascinating that she says she's never seen this outside of TikTok, when we have indeed seen that happen right here on YouTube. I would like to take this creator's video and her idea and just kind of expand upon that for the purpose of this video, which is to say that when creators have a combative or a hater audience, that typically stems from genuine fans who have been giving critical feedback very gently, and what ends up happening is these fans become very frustrated, and they often become more critical of the content creator in the long run, We have seen this time and time again. This is what has happened to so many creators on this platform who fall into girl world, including Amberlynn Reid, Foodie Beauty, Glitter and Lasers, and now, as we're going to see, Molly is just sprinting headfirst into that same category. As a newbie to Molly's content, I wanted to try to figure out where this started and how it has evolved so quickly. And to me, it appears that this race to the bottom really started as Molly continued to talk about her dates ghosting her or canceling on her. But the one that really set her content ablaze was her saying she had been ghosted by a man that she was hoping would do her taxes on their first date.
I think I have a date tomorrow, my first date in Buffalo. Homeboy is gonna help me do my taxes. We're gonna get some beer. Okay, sounds fun. And he ghosted.
After this video, Molly started to receive criticism from fans and non-fans alike. And as per the usual with creators who cannot handle any sort of criticism, she went ahead and dirty deleted this video, therefore drawing even more attention to it and the topic at hand. And I just want to say thank you to the Sky Daddy above that there are so many of you out there who screen record and archive these videos, because that's the only way we were able to get this clip. But anyways, after she did this, she should have just wiped her hands of this. She should have just called it done and moved on with her content, right? What's done is done. You can't take it back now. But do you think that that's what happened in this story? Of course it isn't, because why would it be? This is the internet, where shenanigans reign supreme. Instead of just deleting it and walking away and continuing to do what makes her happy, Molly decided she should make a video talking about how she plans to address the backlash.
So I think it's about time I responded to all of the attention I've gotten from my recent tax date video. I have a lot I could say. I have a lot of thoughts. But no, I'm actually not going to respond to any of that. I'm just going to resume my regularly scheduled content, which is about my babies. Bye-bye.
But of course, as we know, she did not go ahead and stay on task with her regularly scheduled programming.
You're a lie. You're a lie.
But no, of course she didn't do that. That would have been way too easy. Instead, what she did was she went ahead and eased herself into having a combative and hateful audience, as she would say, by posting a video responding to a comment that said, "We're not even hating, girl." She then shared the various comments she had screenshotted that read things like, "Girl, get a diary. Babe, tell a therapist. Girl, are you okay? It's giving secondhand embarrassment. This is like a bad Office episode," and so on. She captioned it to say, "When thousands of people repeat the same harsh messages about my character and appearance based off a video that contains a sliver of my life, this is not constructive. This is hate." Is the hate in the room with us? Are the comments about your character and appearance in the room with us? Did anybody else see them? Did I miss them? The one that really got to her, of all of the things we've just read, was a comment comparing her to Martha from Baby Reindeer. And this set her so far off the edge that she made multiple videos responding to it.
You know what it is? I would say that for the most part, I'm doing okay with being able to handle the negativity, but it's kind of going in waves for me, because if it was just a few comments about being Baby Reindeer, I could ignore it. But in the one video that I've now taken down, there were thousands of comments saying it. Actually, I'm exaggerating. There probably weren't thousands, but there were enough for it to catch my attention. I don't want to take a break because I love the positive aspect of this platform. But it's like you could be so positive and then like one little thing just like, it's like a mosquito, just like boop. And you're like, all right, one mosquito I can ignore. You're like, go away. But when a bunch of mosquitoes are on you and then they actually bite you and then they're itchy afterwards, it's like, you can't get it out of your head.
This was the first time Molly had really let people know what exactly was bothering her. A thing she could have avoided if she had indeed stuck to her word, ignored all of them, and just moved on with her content. It's my opinion that this response videos and the ones that will follow were Molly not only telling those mosquitoes how to get to her, but also where the juiciest veins were. And she would continue to feed them by making more and more of this content months after she deleted that video.
A lot of people love to say that if you put yourself on a public platform, if you choose to be a public figure, that you have to expect to receive hate and negativity online. And while I agree with those people that that is something that happens online, what I will say is no human being alive, I don't care how famous or public they are, no human being is equipped to be able to handle massive amounts of hate, bullying, criticism, no matter how constructive you think it is. No one who is a human is able to handle that on a massive scale in a short period of time. It goes against human nature. People post online like myself for the positive reasons, for the ways that it builds community, for the ways that it brings people together, people who can relate to each other.
It was at this moment that I paused her video and just yelled in my living room, "Stop doing that then. Stop giving them your time and your energy. Stop responding to them. Stop giving them access to your platform. Focus on that community. Focus on the things that are positive. Focus on the people who want to hear your stories. For the love of all that is holy, stop telling the people who don't like you exactly how to get under your skin." I am genuinely baffled that she thinks making video after video after video telling people that it really bothers her when they compare her to Martha from Baby Reindeer, or telling her to go to therapy really bothers her. She thinks telling them that is going to stop them for some reason and not make it worse. I just wish someone in her real life, because she has admitted that they watch her content, I wish that they would just pull her aside and tell her that she is being her own problem. Like, the lack of self-awareness, but also of self-preservation, is astounding. And what's wild is somewhere along the line in all of these responses, she does mention that her real-life friends have given her some pretty solid advice to treat TikTok like a job, to clock in and clock out, to not share such personal information, and to not respond to the negativity. And despite these people who she claims to love and care about giving her this advice, she's going to go ahead and just continue on this same path for some unknown reason. And I think this is ultimately what led Molly into her most recent controversy, which is why more and more eyes are now on her and her content. It started when someone shared her profile for dating on her subreddit, and the caption reads, "Here's Molly's Hinge profile. I honestly think it's pretty normal and a good profile. The only thing is she is kind of catfishing with some of the older photos. She looks good now. She doesn't need younger/thinner photos." Now, once you see that post, it doesn't appear, at least to me, in my opinion, that this person posting was doing so in a way that was to get Molly hate. I mean, it was so nice just pointing out that maybe some of Molly's dating woes and the reason for being canceled on or ghosted is that people were finding out that her well-curated profile didn't necessarily match who she is today because the photos are out of date. They even go as far as to say she looks good now. She should feel good posting photos of herself as she looks. That doesn't seem like the kind of thing that should make someone spiral. It was this post that made Molly start to speed run her social media career straight into girl world. That post. Remember the things that she thought were hate? This post is what sent her over the edge. It's from this point forward that we're going to start to see who she actually is. And one of my YouTube colleagues explained it perfectly, and that is Mika at Mika's Rhetoric, saying that she's a blend of Amberlynn Reid and Marissa Matthews. Don't believe me? Let me go ahead and show you a few of her responses to this post. Spoiler alert, there are many of them, and they are all wild. The first was an 8-minute long TikTok where she let people know that she did not give her consent for her public dating profile to be viewed by thousands of people.
Can I be honest and vulnerable with you about something? Because that's what I like to do on here. I've been thinking about how much I would love to get on the dating apps and match with people and schedule dates, but I no longer feel safe doing so. And it's because of the faceless, nameless people on Reddit. The people who screenshotted my dating profile and felt that it was a good use of their time to compare my appearance in photos to my appearance in TikTok videos and accused me of being a catfish. Because of you, I no longer feel safe on the dating apps. And I know what some of the haters are going to be thinking. They're going to be thinking, yeah, but technically a dating profile is public. And you have a public TikTok account where you talk about dating. Yeah, I do. But this is an issue of consent. Because me making this video and posting it on a public platform on TikTok, that's me giving consent to receiving comments, right? Now that doesn't even necessarily mean I want comments criticizing my appearance, right? But at least you can argue that I have my comments turned on, and that then opens up to commentary, right? But in no way, shape, or form did I ever consent to my dating profile to be viewed by thousands of people and picked apart and ridiculed. I didn't consent to that. And I would never consent to that. There's a reason why I've never shared my dating profile on my TikTok when people have asked me to. I don't want opinions about it. I don't want to hear commentary about my dating profile.
There is so much to unpack here, both in the longer TikTok, but also in just the short snippet that you've just seen. And the first issue that I have with it is her labeling this as a consent issue to try to solely pin the blame on her audience for how she's feeling. Doing anything as a public figure is difficult, and everyone knows this. People are watching you, you have eyes on you all the time. But dating as a public figure probably has to be amongst the hardest, right? You need to be really careful of who you're sharing your profile with, vetting who you're talking to, all of those things, right? You would weigh the pros and the cons of that, and also the risk. What happens if someone in my audience finds this profile? What does that mean to me? How does that affect me? These are things that anyone who is putting their face on the internet should think about. Molly chose to share one of the most vulnerable parts of her life with hundreds of thousands of internet strangers. She should have weighed those pros and cons. She should have weighed the risk and really thought about what happens if someone finds this profile that I don't want to find it. If she didn't weigh out those risks, if she didn't weigh out those pros and cons, that's a her problem. That is not her audience's problem. Also, I love that she went out of her way to say, well, the reason I didn't give consent is because I don't want people's feedback on that. And she shares that that's one of the reasons that she never actually showed her dating profile on her channel or in any of her content, because she didn't want people's feedback. Now, while that's a fair thing for her to say because she didn't share the profile herself, she's still the cause of her own problems here. Let me explain. She is the one who chose to make dating content, and she is the one who chose to do so publicly. She wanted the followers and the validation, okay? She is the one who did all of that using her legal first and last name on her profile. She is the one who has openly shared where she's living. She has openly shared what her past career was before TikTok. She has shared her pet names. She has shared so many details of her life. and has put in zero effort to protect herself. She gave them everything they would need to search for her. And somehow, some way, it is someone else's fault that this has happened. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? She goes on to say that this entire thing has made her feel violated.
I could ignore the Reddit haters for a lot of things, but this one hit different. This one made me feel extremely violated, and I don't know if I will ever feel differently about it. Maybe I will over time, but as of right now, I don't. And it is very sad, and it makes me very angry.
Violated is a very strong word, and I know a lot of people have had very visceral reactions to that and think that it's silly that she feels this way. I have kind of mixed thoughts and emotions on this, okay? Stay with me. First, her feelings are valid, right? She's allowed to feel how she feels. But her use of the word violates, to me, kind of implies that she sees herself as having successfully separated her real life from her TikTok life and her TikTok personality. So the reason that she sees this as a violation is that it feels like someone has crossed that boundary. They have found a profile that has taken things from her TikTok life into her real life, okay? That's where she's getting that sort of feeling of violation from. The reason that it feels ridiculous for her to feel this way is that literally everyone, except for Molly, apparently, can see that she has not successfully separated those two things. She is allowing TikTok to have so much access to her personal life and her personal information. There's no separation at all. That's why people are feeling the way that they are and responding to her saying she feels violated in the way that they are. Because again, she's taken zero steps to protect herself. And she has no one to blame but herself, as we've seen, right? Sharing so much information publicly. But we're quickly learning our girl is not good at accepting any form of criticism. Now, perhaps the most interesting part of this response to the catfishing allegations is the fact that she starts this video saying she is so angry that she's being called a catfish. It couldn't be further from the truth. She doesn't understand why she has these allegations or why she has to talk about this. Okay, she goes from being that angry and she quickly devolves into saying, well, so what if I was catfishing? Why does that matter?
Because here's the thing. Let's just say you're right. Even if you are right, who cares? Like, do you really think I care?
So is she admitting that she's catfishing? Are her over-the-top angry responses just proving everyone's theories correct? Is she defensive because she's been caught red-handed?
I don't understand it. I am completely crashing out right now.
And crash out she did, because that Reddit post was made 4 months ago, okay, at the time of me filming. She made that 8-minute long TikTok post in September of 2024, and then in early November, she made another 20-plus minute YouTube podcast talking all about how she was very unbothered by the catfish claims. It's in this longer video podcast that we get even more nuggets of truth that are just waiting for self-awareness to enter the chat, including when she's talking about the reason she's getting this backlash is because her haters are fat phobic.
I really don't get it. And the more I try to think about why it is, the more I come back to the idea that the majority of the criticism and hate that I receive online, I think can be traced back to misogyny and fat phobia, if I'm being perfectly honest. And I think the fat phobia one is glaring in my mind so much more because I think what's happening with a lot of my haters online is I think it's hard for them to reconcile how someone who looks like me, someone who has body fat, I think it's hard for them to reconcile how that person could be as confident as I am. I think it's really hard for them to understand and accept that someone who has body fat like me loves themselves, thinks they're beautiful, is very authentic online, gets a lot of dates.
And this is the thing that people are trying to say, right? She can keep telling us that she's confident, that she loves herself, that she thinks she's beautiful the way she is, that she's being 100% authentic online. But if she keeps using photos that are 5+ years old and admitting that she's editing her Instagram posts to this day, her actions are not lining up with the things that she's telling us. And she continues to showcase that as she says this.
Do you really think, though, that on my dating profile, I'm gonna put my camera below my chin and, like, show off my adorable double chin? Like, do you really think that that's what I'm gonna be posting on my dating profile? I'm not ashamed of my double chin. If I was, I would be holding my phone at a certain angle for every single TikTok video I ever posted. But the fact of the matter is, I have fat under my chin. And I'm not ashamed of that. But I'm also going to put photos on my dating profile that I feel really beautiful in. And oh my God, I can't even believe I'm having to talk about this as much as I am right now. Like, I just don't care.
I don't think she gets it. But the more she talks, the more she's just proving everybody correct. Her saying, when I highly curate my profile, I only select photos that make me feel beautiful. She's admitting that she does not feel beautiful right now. She does not feel worthy of posting a photo of herself right now. And those are very valid things to feel, okay? But when people are calling you out on them, getting defensive and spiraling out of control and doing the things we've just seen is only proving their point. The more I watched her spiral out of control, the more I started to understand the devolution of a content creator into girl world type content. I was not even a fan, and I was incredibly frustrated. I could see in real time that Molly is just not listening to the people who do actually like her. She's not taking any constructive criticism, and she's treating every single person, whether they like her content or not, as though they're a troll. She's not willing to listen to the people who love her and want her content to flourish. She's focused way too much on the negativity, and just as we've already seen, she still isn't stopping. She continues to feed into this when she admits,
I read every single message I receive.
Who does she think is going to flood her inbox now? She just spent 20+ minutes telling everyone how she has so many haters and they're so overwhelming. And when they overwhelm her, it's really bad for her. Girl, why would you tell them that you read every single message you receive? Who did you think that was going to appeal to? I swear to God, you cannot make this stuff up. I think, though, perhaps the most intriguing part of this YouTube response, in my opinion, was her directly contradicting herself.
Let's just say I agreed with these people, right? Let's just say I completely agreed that I have been catfishing people online by misrepresenting how I look. Let's just say I agreed with them. Okay, and I don't even think this is an interesting talking point. I don't think this is something worthwhile of my time to address. Someone's gonna say like, oh, then why are you talking about it? It's because I think this is just a very interesting talking point.
But also the way she goes on to wax poetic about how she's being so reflective and really thinking about what she wants her digital footprint to be on social media.
But then even separate from that, even separate from wanting the validation from others that view me online, I have to think about, who do I want to be as a person, right? I have to look into my core and think, who do you want to be
where when you put your head down to sleep at night, you feel content that that's the person you want to be on a public platform. Because digital footprints are forever. We all know that.
Seeing as this conversation exists within a video where the title includes a description of her hoo-ha, I think we're starting off pretty strong. But in all seriousness, her digital footprint includes clickbaiting DV, oversharing details of her personal life, watering down conversations about consent while sharing private messages that she's had with the men she's dated, and telling people that they are stupid. Molly, darling, this is your digital footprint. This is what you've chosen to share with the entire world. And as far as this combative audience of hate watchers, she's created this. She is the one who has responded to genuine criticism in a way that's annoying to the people who genuinely like her. And not only that, she's continued to feed the actual trolls time and time again, telling them exactly where to nitpick her, exactly what gets under her skin, and just continuing to make responses and continuing to give them a platform. I truly don't understand how she cannot see that she is the cause of all of her problems. And until she gets enough self-awareness to make that change, she is going to keep causing her own suffering on social media. All right, that is all I have for you all today. At this point, I am so curious to know what you think because, again, I am so new to Molly's content, and this was just an absolutely bonkers wild ride of trying to just even sort out what is happening and why she's drawing so many people's attention. I am genuinely curious to know if you saw the parallels to the other creators who already exist in Girl World, Amberlynn being the main one, at least in my opinion. But did you see those parallels? Have you seen Molly in the wild? And what do you think about all of this? I am genuinely hoping that you will share your opinions with me because we've only scratched the surface. If you want someone who's deep diving into the content, please check out Megan Ann. Also, Mika's Rhetoric. Both have made very long form videos diving into all of her controversies. I'm just trying to figure out how she went from regular creator and devolved into this because, again, we've only just scratched the surface and it has been wild. So please leave your comments for me down below. And for all my introvert friends out there who may not feel comfortable leaving your opinion in an internet comment section, I see you, I feel you. Let's go ahead and leave me 2 emojis this week. Go ahead and leave me a cat and a fish. Because we all love a good catfish, right? It's the reason that people are so drawn to this story, like a moth to a flame. Catfish has been on MTV for like 20-something years now, I swear. People are interested. It's the train wreck you cannot look away from. So go ahead and flood me with those catfish emojis. I love to see your emojis just as much as I love to read those opinions, so please leave them for me down below. As always, thank you all so much for being here with me this week. I will see you in the next one. Bye!